Hi, my name's Kevin and I'm 24 years old. I found out about my son when I was 17 and I turned 18 in May. My son was born in April. I'm a single dad to my 6-year-old son, and how I became a single dad, I went through the courts, so it was a very challenging, emotional and kind of draining process. At the time my son was around 3. Things became very difficult with his mother, and the local authority social services got involved, and there were concerns about my child's needs, and they were looking at where they wanted to place my son. I've always been very curious. I went and found out that I had parental responsibility, so I challenged the social workers that I should be looked at as the primary carer for my child, as the second person to look after my child. And I always wanted to play, an important role in my son's life, From then, that's when things became a bit more challenging for me, as the social services, they started to kind of assess and look at my capability as a father, which was a bit strange because I've been having him weekends when he was with his mum. So why would I need to tell you that I cook for my son if I've been looking after him weekends for over a year? They said, well, because this doesn't really happen with fathers, so I had to actually prove myself, put things down in writing to say that I cook and clean and look after my son and do I meet all his basic needs. As a father, you shouldn't have to do that, because I'm sure mothers don't have to do that. You don't have to tell them that you can do all of those stuff. They expect you to already know how to do those things. And then as things went forward, I had to go through psychiatric assessments where they watch me and my son, to see how me and my son interacted, which was very interesting because there was a lot of things that I didn't know, I wasn't aware of, that I was doing. And I remember it came out that I was managing my emotion, my son's emotion, and the mother's emotion all at the same time. And it also highlighted that I had a very strong bond with my son. When he was 3 to 4, he ended up living with maternal great-grandma as a looked-after child while we were going through this whole court process. At the time, it didn't really hit me, because in my mind, my son was my niche, and I just had my focus on my son, trying to give him his best, trying to support him as much as I could. And I didn't really feel the pressure, I didn't really feel the challenge. And at the time, I was working as a fitness instructor / personal trainer in a corporate gym, which obviously it was a form of way of me releasing all that negative energy that I was going through. So I think that also kind of helped me. And when my son was 4, before he turned 5, in February, I remember getting booked in to go to court for the final hearings. First you go through the PLO process, which is supposed to take 6 months, and then 3 months, and then you go through the court process, which is supposed to take 6 months. But it didn't really kind of happen like that. After the first 3 months, you had to wait a little bit until the court took the case, which was very difficult for me at the time because I was highly concerned about my child's emotional well-being, because I could see the impact it had on him, and I could see how it was very challenging for him. No one really took that into consideration. They never did anything about that. I don't know why they never did anything about that. And then in the end, I was booked in for 5 days in court. It was a week in court, a week's trial, and on the first day in court, the judge made a decision within 4 hours. And I was shocked, excited, shocked, confused at the same time, because they had booked us for 5 days trial. I took time off work, and then within 4 hours the decision was made.